is Pedro, and today I'm going to talk about a country called Haiti. Many of you may wonder why we're going to talk about a country that is not Ecuador, a country we already know that is super poor and everything. Well, the reason we're going to talk about it is because, as Sotomayor, the famous philosopher, once said, people who don't know about history are doomed to repeat it. And as a person that believes in the theory of everything in the world is connected. And something that will happen with Haiti is definitely going to affect a country like ours, like Ecuador, because we're in the same region. So let's start. Haiti is the second most populous state in the Caribbean region after Cuba. It is located in the Isla Española. It shares borders with Dominican Republic. And both countries, as the entire Caribbean region, are really, really famous, but for reasons completely different. Dominican Republic is a major touristic destination, just like Jamaica, Aruba, Curacao, many other places in the Caribbean. Many of us went in high school to Dominican Republic. Many of us know that it's a major place to party and everything. And on the other hand, you have Haiti that is right next to the island, is most known for being a philanthropic destination. It's the poorest country in the continent. It's considered one of the most corrupted places in the world. It's considered one of the most dangerous places in the world by Human Development Index, and it's really low ranked in human development, like is the case of education, health, insurance, security. So the question here is why Dominican Republic, that is here, is so developed in the region, and Haiti is so behind us. It's so behind Ecuador. 60% of the population lives under $1 per day. Why this happened? Well, the reason is divided in four major topics: colonialism, racism, economy, and terrible institutions. The four of them are interconnected, and to understand them, we're gonna take a look back in history of Haiti and compare it to Dominican Republic. That's the way we're gonna understand why Haiti is so different. So let's start. La Isla Española was discovered by Christopher Columbus in his first ever expedition to the Americas. It became the first European settlement in the continent, so it's really, really old, the civilization in both states. However, France, as always, they were fighting wars to control half of the island, and that's when Haiti becomes to be separately treated. You know, while the Spanish people, as we know, they were not nice, they did invest in making Dominican Republic and all the rest of the colonies sustainable societies. They built high schools, hospitals, they catalyzed the people, they made government local, they distributed the wealth and let the people mix up in the races. And on the other hand, the French didn't care at all about that. They only see Haiti and many of their possessions in Africa as resources. So what they did is kill every single native that lived here, bring millions of slaves from Africa, and they discovered that Haiti was actually a really good place to plant sugarcane. So that's what the slaves did for centuries, only sugarcane, sugarcane, sugarcane. This of course gave us two major problems of colonialism. First, the population, the majority were slaves, were highly uneducated people. And second, I have to show you the picture. When you in agriculture use one crop in the land, you destroy the ecosystem. This is the border of Dominican Republic today, and this is the border of Haiti today. You can see the difference. That's the result of hundreds of years of sugarcane exploitation. So that's the first reason, colonialism. It was really, really difficult, Haiti, since the very first beginning because of France. Second, let's talk about racism. So sooner or later, the slaves got tired and they decided to get independent, and they became the first black republic in the world. They became the second republic in the Americas after the United States. And in those moments, actually, you know, people were really racist. And actually, just for you to know, the American Civil War, one of the reasons why the American Civil War happening is because Americans were really afraid that if they freed the slaves, the southern of the country was going to become like Haiti, you know, a country ruled by ex-slaves. So what United Kingdom, France, Spain, United States, and all the powers did was basically isolate Haiti. And for many years, Haiti was not able to trade with any country. This is the second thing, racism. Haiti has always been treated like a black country, and that's why it has always been left out. Also for you to know, as we know, all of us that were ex-colonies, when we get independent, just like Ecuador, just like Venezuela, just like Dominican Republic, Haiti had to pay a lot of gold to France, and that's why they stayed really, really poor, and it was really difficult to them to recover, especially knowing that they only did sugarcane, and sugarcane actually is really easy to crop in any place in the world. And finally, I want to talk, as I said, colonialism, racism. Now I talked about economy, I want to talk about bad institutions. The history of Haiti is written by blood. Since when the French arrived and they killed everyone, they brought the slaves, then by independence when the slaves killed all the white people in the island. So actually, you cannot have good institutions when the history is full of blood. And actually, people were never taught to have a society. Haiti was never meant to be a society. It was meant to be a resource place. And that's why when you have bad institutions, when you don't have education, when you don't have healthcare, when you don't have all these things, corruption is really easy. So this is the reason, the main reason why Haiti is not recovering, because they are dragging all these problems since hundreds of years, and they don't have good ways to implement. So thank you very much, I hope you like it. And remember, it's really good for us to keep informed and change the world.